Bonsoir tout le monde, bienvenue aux séances ordinaires du Conseil municipal de la ville de Westmount pour lundi le 17 janvier 2022. Hi everyone, welcome to the regular council meeting of the city of Westmount for Monday, January 17th, 2022. I'd like to wish all residents of Westmount a very happy new year. Bonne année à tous. Let's hope that it is a year full of certainly of health and happiness. And I know it certainly hasn't started off as the easiest year, as we're in the fifth wave of this pandemic, which hearing from residents and just, also talking to friends and family, this seems to be the hardest wave that we have been through yet. So hopefully we are getting towards the tail end of that. And in terms of COVID updates, we had closed the WRC. It is now reopened for skating, which you can reserve your spot online. So it's the exact same system as last year, where you book your spot online, and both rinks are open. So hopefully residents are able to take advantage of that. That just opened today. And as well, the library has reopened for curbside pickup. So it'll be the same system that was in place prior to us opening the doors of the library. So I really hope that, like you, that we are able to get back to seeing all of our buildings and facilities and our programs up and running sooner rather than later. But for now, those two are the major changes in terms of COVID. And prior to this meeting, we tabled and voted on the budget for 2022 that Councillor D'Amico had tabled just at 7 o'clock, and you will find the details of that on our website. And you'll be getting your tax bills in the mail in the coming weeks by the end of January. So that will also have further details in it. So without, I don't think I have any further updates beyond that, but I think some councillors do. I think Councillor Bostock would like to talk about the snow removal and our biggest snowstorm yet this year. So I will hand it over to her.
Well, Happy New Year, everybody. It snowed. And needless to say, we're going to be starting our snow removal operations with sidewalks and streets. You've already seen the trucks out there. We will be starting our snow loading operation tomorrow morning, or this morning, I guess, at 3 a.m. And just so that people understand, our priority on the first day of loading is commercial sectors, fire routes, and schools. We will not get to load the snow around the schools and daycares until early tomorrow morning, as the storm is continuing on into the late evening. However, our crews will be there to clear the snow around drop-off zones at all schools and daycares, so it's safe for morning drop-off. As for the outdoor rinks, they are presently closed because of all the snow, and all of our people are out doing snow removal. However, they're doing their best to get out to the Westmount Park ice rink, and will do their best to get to the other remaining rinks this evening. If you haven't gone to check out the toboggan run at King George Park, it's fantastic. There are tons of kids playing, and it's a great way to spend a snow day. And we will continue to update our website and social media platforms as required over the next few days. And some more wonderful news: we're apparently expecting another 10 centimeters of snow on Wednesday. So you'll be spending a lot of time with snow removal trucks in the neighborhood.
Thank you, Councillor Bostock. And yes, as residents may need to be reminded, we clear snow overnight. So you really have to check for the signs, because if there are cars on the street, it dramatically slows down the snow clearing process, and it's safer to do schools and commercial sectors and to get a lot of as much as we can done overnight. And I know it can be disruptive, but it is the most efficient way to do it. So we are doing it round the clock. So thank you for that update, Councillor Bostock, and I echo your sentiments about the King George Toboggan Run. which has been certainly a popular destination over the holidays. Now, I think Councillor Gallery has an update as well.
I do. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Bonne année and Happy New Year to all. Also, just to remind residents, yes, we have opened the WRC to general skating and stick and puck. It will be online reservation only, but the reminder is please get your 2022 facility card. Your 2021 card is no longer valid. It's all being done online. Please check our website, westmount.org, and find sports and recreation, and it'll be pretty obvious there. So please get out, enjoy the toboggan runs, the skating, ice surfaces, and stay safe, and we hope to see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Gallery. Do we have any other updates from Council? Councillor Kez?
Thank you. Just echoing the snowfall, just to remind everybody, please pay attention for those orange signs and move your car, because if you don't move your car will be towed. So please pay close attention. And just on another note, I just want to bring to your attention that you're all welcome tomorrow to Cabot Square at 2 o'clock. There'll be a memorial service for Raphael Napa Andre Memorial Service. It's been 1 year. So 2 o'clock tomorrow, Cabot Square. Everyone's welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kez. Councillor Shammy, I think, had an update as well.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just as Commissioner of Westmount Hydro, I just want to bring all our residents' attention with the extreme cold that we experienced last week, and we're going to experience again avec des périodes de froid intense. S'il vous plaît, essayez de réduire, to try to reduce your energy consumption during the intense cold periods. It's just a heads up to everybody to think smart about, especially with this extreme cold. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Shammy. Councillor Aronson?
Thank you, Councillor, Mayor. As Commissioner for Economic Development in the city, I'd like to take a moment to urge all residents to please support our local businesses at this difficult time, especially those who have had to shut down without notice right before the New Year celebrations. Our local restaurateurs, as well as all our local businesses, are experiencing a difficult time at this time. And since we are all going to be at home, getting cozy as we wait for the snow to be cleared, please think of placing an order with your local restaurant or doing your shopping locally. If you are going out, there are a number of excellent greengrocers in the neighborhood, and they could really use your business at this time. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Councillor Aronson. And we had put on our website, I'll double check to make sure that we can make sure it's updated, at the beginning of the pandemic, a list of all the restaurants that were doing takeout. So that is a good reminder to make sure it's updated, because I think we've got a few of them that are new in the neighborhood. And yeah, it's an incredibly challenging time for so many businesses, in particular restaurants. So thanks for the reminder to support our local ones. And do we have any other updates from council at this time? No? Okay, so we will now, oh, sorry, Madame Roux, Councillor Roux, je m'excuse. You're on mute. There you go.
So as you mentioned, the curbside pickup is back at the library, but there's also a lot of things that we've discovered over the last 2 years that we can do on Zoom. So everything is not wasted on the library being closed. The popular winter knitting club is back on January 24th. It seems both fun and appropriate on a day like this. There is going to be the author meet event with Wes Matter and author Catherine McKenzie, which will discuss her new novel, 6 Weeks to Live, on Saturday, January 29th. Importantly for the elderly community, so for not all of them obviously, but weekly activity for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementias. There's the Tale and Travel series, which gets them out of isolation and gives them a chance to see other people and reconnect. And then for kids, certainly haven't forgotten about them. There's L'heure du conte en ligne, so both in French and in English. There's the McIntyre writing competition, which is going to be into its 50th year this year. So that's for students from Westmount, for Westmount kids. The topic this year will be what's next for the community. C'est aussi possible de le faire en français. Alors, vous pouvez faire vos compositions en français ou en anglais. There's the stuffed animal sleepover for the younger ones. So on Friday, February 5th, you can drop off your stuffed animal. It will sleep over at the library, and they will put pictures online to show you what your stuffed animal has been doing overnight while he or she was away. There's also craft projects for the Chinese New Year, and the list goes on. Anyway, so lots to do during this pandemic that never seems to end. Everything is on the library website. So please go, and the more the merrier. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you, Councillor Roux. And is that it for council updates? I think so. I think Mr. Hakim has our Director General.
Just a quick word to say welcome to our city clerk. I know we passed the point last month, but tonight he's on officially as his first day. Maître Denis Ferland, alors la bienvenue à vous parmi l'équipe et très content de vous avoir. Je vais maintenant pouvoir me concentrer sur ma fonction de DG, donc très, très content de votre décision de vous être joint à l'équipe et bienvenue.
Oui, bienvenue, Maître Ferland, au Conseil. Et j'espère que c'est en personne bientôt, mais pour le moment, c'est sur Zoom pour tout le monde, mais bienvenue.
Merci.
We're very excited to have you in the role.
Thank you.
So I think that's it for updates. So now we will move to the question period, la première période de questions. On a reçu quelques questions en ligne aujourd'hui, puis après ça, on va faire les questions live. So I will hand it over to the Assistant City Clerk, who will read the questions, I believe. Is that how we're doing it, or is it coming from?
I'm gonna read it.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
So we received two questions. First one is from Mr. John Bresla. This question has already been submitted to Westmount Legal Counsel in early December 2021, so they have had the opportunity to undertake an appropriate investigation and to provide a response at this time. The question relates to Bylaw 1580, a bylaw to amend Bylaw 1552, designating the Good House as a heritage property, which was passed by Westmount City Council at a special sitting on October 7, 2021. It is my belief that the requirement of all bylaws, and this one in particular, were not followed for the following two reasons. Reason number one, Article 139 of Cultural Heritage Act states that avant d'imposer des conditions, le Conseil de la municipalité qui a adopté le règlement de la station prend l'avis du Conseil local du patrimoine. This regulation was not followed. Indeed, the last meeting of the LHC prior to the passage of Bylaw 1580 was in February 2021. Second, the preamble of Bylaw 1580 states that a draft bylaw was presented at the regular sitting of the Municipal Council of the City of Westmount, duly called and held on October 4, 2021. In fact, a draft bylaw for 1580 was not presented at a regular sitting of council on October 4, 2021. Thus, this violates Article 356 of the Cities and Towns Act, which requires that a bylaw can only be passed at a different sitting than the one at which the draft bylaw was presented. This was not the case. Third, Ministerial Order 2020-049 of the Minister of Health and Social Services stipulates that it be possible for the public to submit written question at any time before the holding of any meeting that legally requires a public question period. This was not possible since the meeting was not posted. My question is therefore, and since it's technical, is directed to legal counsel. First, in general, if the legal procedure requires for a bylaw are not followed, what is the procedure of stating that such a bylaw is no longer in effect? Second, is there any disagreement as to the factual correctness of the three assertions made above? And third, consequently, is this correct to say that since bylaw 1580 was passed in violation of requirement imposed by law, that as a consequences, it is no in effect, and that bylaw 1552 remains in effect unamended?
Thank you, Mr. Breslaw. It's a very detailed question, and the legal department will be in touch with you via, I suppose they will email you this week with some further details on this, but I can assure you that all the procedural requirements were met for the passing of this bylaw. This was passed at the end of the last mandate, and for those that are listening and wondering what this is all about, there's bylaw 1580, which amended bylaw 1552, designating the good house as a heritage property. One of the things that we amended in this bylaw was that the Parks Canada guidelines were no longer going to be a part of this bylaw as a way of managing the process for this for the current owners of this house at 178 Côte Saint Antoine. It in no way changes the heritage status, and it is still cited as a heritage building. So it does not change that at all. It is really just how the administration is dealing with the file in terms of urban planning and the PAC process. But it absolutely does not change the commitment of council to keeping this as a heritage site. So it continues to be cited as that, but it was deemed to, it was a very, very heavy tool being used on a residence. It's the Parks Canada guidelines are used like with the Houses of Parliament. This is a private residence. It's a, it's a small house, a private residence. So it was just not the right tool as deemed by the administration, and council voted upon that. So I don't know if that gives any clarity to those who are listening. If anyone else wants to add anything to that, but all the procedures were followed.
If I can add that there's a presumption of validity for a bylaw adopted by the city, which means that a municipal bylaw is valid until proven otherwise. And the legal opinion that we have is that bylaw 1580 is valid and all the procedures have been followed. And as of the question of Mr. Breslaw to know how to proceed, it is the Superior Court of Quebec. It's the only jurisdiction that can suspend the application of a bylaw.
So thank you for your question. And we will move on to the next one. If nobody else has any further comments on that or clarifications. Perfect, thank you. Next question. La prochaine question.
Yes, it's from Casey Auerbach. Dear Mayor Smith, I sent you an email late last week regarding a letter that I required to work from home. Which department is responsible for issuing this letter?
Thank you, Mr. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Auerbach, for your question and for your email, and the Urban Planning Department and our Assistant Director General will be in touch with you to discuss how you move forward on this with more details. So thank you for that, and you will be hearing from them. I think my office probably responded back to you this afternoon, and you will hear from the Urban Planning Department to set up a meeting. Any further questions? Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions? Non? Puis, je pense qu'on n'a pas de questions en ligne pour le moment. Okay, so there will be a second question period if anyone attending wants to ask a question at the end, and you do that through the Q&A button on your screen. Okay, merci beaucoup. Donc, we move to item number 4, the adoption of the agenda. Councillor Chamy, l'adoption de l'ordre du jour. Conseiller Chamy.
Merci, Madame la Mairesse. je propose que l'ordre de jour de la séance ordinaire du Conseil du 17 janvier 2022 soit adopté.
Merci beaucoup. Est-ce que j'ai une appuyeur pour ça? Conseiller Gallery, tout en faveur? Thank you. Item number 5, numéro 5, approbation des procès-verbaux. Encore le conseiller Chami.
Merci, Madame la mairesse. Je propose que les procès-verbaux des séances extraordinaires et ordinaires du Conseil tenues le 20 décembre 2021 soient approuvés.
Merci beaucoup. Un appuyeur sur ça, c'est... Do I have a seconder? Conseiller Roux? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item number 6, numéro 6, rapport au Conseil. 6.1, la correspondance. Les documents suivants sont déposés. La liste de règlements adoptés lors de l'Assemblée extraordinaire du Conseil d'agglomération tenue le 24 décembre 2021. Which is true, we had a council meeting on the 24th of December. Avis public, étude publique du budget 2022 et du PDI 2022 et 2031 de la Ville de Montréal, de ses sociétés paramunicipales et de la STM. Item 6.2, 6.2, le procès verbal du comité plénier. Item 6.2 is Councillor Chami.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the minutes of the General Committee meeting of Council held December 6, 2021 are tabled and are now available on the city's website.
Thank you very much. 6.3, 6.3, le rapport de la main-d'œuvre. Councillor Chami.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The amended workforce report for the month of October 2021 and the workforce report for the month of November 2021 are now tabled.
Thank you very much. 6.4, 6.4, le registre des paiements. Conseiller D'Amico.
The list of payments for the month of November 2021 is tabled.
Thank you very much. Item 6.5, liste d'approbation en vertu du règlement 1507, le conseiller Chami. Councillor Chami.
Madam Mayor, in accordance with bylaw 1507 on the delegation of powers to certain employees of the city of Westmount, the list of authorization of expenditures for the month of November 2021 is now tabled.
Thank you very much. Item 6.6, Councillor D'Amico as well, list of duties on transfer invoices.
The list of duties on transfers for the month of December 2021 is tabled.
Thank you very much. 6.7, le dépôt d'un procès verbal de correction, le greffier adjointe.
Conformément à l'article 92.1 de la loi sur les cités et villes, je dépose le procès verbal de correction portant sur la résolution numéro 2020-12-302.
Merci beaucoup. Item number 7, numéro 7, orientation du Conseil sur les sujets devant être présentés au Conseil d'agglomération de Montréal. Councillor Chami.
Madam Mayor, I move that the mayor, or in her absence, the acting mayor, may be authorized to make any decisions she deems necessary and in the best interest of the city of Westmount and its residents regarding the items on the agenda of the Montreal Urban Agglomeration Council special meeting to be held January 21st, 2022, and the regular meetings to be held on January 27th, 2022.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this will be Councillor Aronson. Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 8, numéro 8, modification nomination maire suppléant 2022. Councillor Peart will move this.
Merci, Madame la Mairesse. I move that Councillor Jeff J. Chami be appointed acting mayor for the months of February, March, and April of 2022. The Councillor Antonio D'Amico be appointed acting mayor for the months of May, June, and July 2022. That Councillor Elizabeth Roux be appointed acting mayor for the months of August, September, and October 2022, and that Councillor Conrad Peart be appointed acting mayor for the months of November and December 2022, as well as January 2023.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this will be Councillor Bostock, and this is just as it is a new council and we have some new council members, we are just extending Councillor Chami, who is currently the pro mayor, for a few months while we our new council members are able to get up to speed on their commissionerships and all the duties that go with being a councillor. So the pro mayor obviously acts if I'm mid-month and at the beginning of the month. So the general committee meetings are chaired by the Pro Mayor. So thank you, Councillor Shammy, for extending that. All in favor? Carried. Item number 9 is again Councillor Shammy, is Declaration Definition of Quebec's English-speaking community, numéro 9, Déclaration Définition de la communauté d'expression anglaise du Québec. Councillor Shammy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I'll read the preamble. Whereas during his inaugural address to the National Assembly of Quebec on October 19th, 2021, Premier François Legault stated, and I quote, "I want to speak to the historic English-speaking community of Quebec. You're an integral part of Quebec. As a historic community, you have your own institutions, schools, colleges, universities, hospitals, the media. Canada's Francophone minorities dream of mastering so many institutions, and no minority in Canada is better served than the English-speaking Quebecers, and we're proud of that." Close quote. Whereas the following day, Premier Legault defined the historic English-speaking community as those individuals who are eligible for English schooling in Quebec. Whereas eligibility to attend school in English in Quebec is not in any way linked to the language of the student or the parent. Rather, it is linked to the language of instruction received by the parent or the educational pathway of the student or his or her siblings. Meanwhile, ironically, Francophones who attended English schools and their children would be provided the right to receive government services in English. Whereas the use of English eligible category in Bill 96 is grossly under-inclusive, eliminating the right to access services in English for between 300,000 and 500,000 English-speaking Quebecers, and is entirely disconnected from the community's self-identification. Whereas under international norms, minorities define themselves, they are not defined by the state. Whereas any attempt to discriminate by creating categories of citizens then deemed eligible to receive certain government services is deeply troublesome from a public governance perspective. And whereas English-speaking Quebecers are full and contributing members of Quebec society who are committed to building an inclusive Quebec where French is the common language, I move, Madam Mayor, that any attempt by the government of Quebec to define English-speaking Quebecers as an historic community or limit their right to receive government communications and services in English is profoundly objectionable. Furthermore, rights and services should never be based on eligibility for English instruction.
Thank you very much, Councillor Shammy. Do I have a seconder on this? Will be Councillor Aronson. Any further comments on this? We join many other municipalities in supporting this motion. So Councillor Shammy, do you have any further comments, or Councillor Aronson?
It's quite straightforward.
Thank you. Okay. All in favor, or anyone else? I shouldn't have just limited it to those two. Does anyone else have any further comments on this? No. Okay. Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 10, numéro 10, is a partnership agreement with the City of Westmount and Marianopolis College, entente de partenariat, la Ville de Westmount et le Collège Marianopolis. Councillor Gallery.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will also read the whereases to begin. Whereas the provincial government provides grants for the Programme de soutien aux infrastructures sportives et récréatives scolaires et d'enseignement supérieur, which is aimed at the renovation of sport infrastructures. Whereas Marianopolis College wishes to apply for this grant for the purpose of funding a new playing field, outdoor exercise equipment, redoing the gym floor, and a few smaller upgrades. Whereas by agreeing to support the renovation project and entering into an agreement with Marianopolis College, the City of Westmount will have priority access to their campus for its sports and recreation programs outside of school programming, for which a schedule will be determined. I move that the City of Westmount support Marianopolis College's project to renovate its sports facilities in order for Marianopolis College to benefit from financial assistance from the Ministère de l'Éducation under the Programme de soutien aux infrastructures sportives et récréatives scolaires et d'enseignement supérieur. That the City of Westmount commit to entering into an agreement with Marianopolis College for the renovation of its sports facilities in order to make them accessible to Westmount's general population.
Thank you very much. Seconder on this will be, who would like to second this? Councillor D'Amico. I can say a few comments on this. Councillor Gallery, you may have some as well, but this is a very important partnership with Marianopolis that has great facilities, and it is it's similar to what we had discussed with Dawson College. And when we would need a lot of their facilities, they're not using them. So it's actually an ideal partnership, and they have beautiful grounds. They also have, I mean, it's not just about sports as well. They have a beautiful auditorium that has, I mean, nothing against Victoria Hall, but you know, our sound system is not, maybe not the most up to date, but it is sort of a perfect partnership right in our community, used by many of our residents as students, but also an opportunity for us to be able to offer more to our citizens. So I'm very keen that we've been in discussions with them, and I was very happy to support with a letter from the city. So and this is going to be part of an ongoing and hopefully long relationship. Any other comments on this?
I would just add, like you said, it's a win-win and very beneficial for our community. And it's great to have these two CEGEPs on our land, and it's great to be working with them both.
Great. Okay. Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 11, the appropriation of the appropriated surplus. Councillor D'Amico.
Whereas the appropriated surplus of the city of Westmount as at December 31st, 2020 was 27,627,794. Whereas by allocating surpluses to specific projects or elements, these amounts cannot be used for purposes other than those approved by council. Whereas an amount of 2 million has been appropriated for actuarial deficit, and that this amount can be decreased. Whereas the share of the Montreal urban agglomeration will increase significantly for the year 2022. Whereas the municipal council has expressed its willingness to mitigate the effect of this increase on the 2022 tax bill, I move that an amount of 715,000 from the appropriated surplus for the actuarial deficit of 2 million be allocated to the budget item appropriated surplus -COVID.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this will be Councillor Kez. Any further comments on this, Councillor D'Amico? This is supporting, certainly trying to keep our local taxes. Yeah,
we're trying to do a balanced approach where an equilibrium between a lot of competing factors, which I feel is probably achieves that equilibrium under difficult circumstances.
Yeah. Thank you very much. All in favor? Carried. Item number 12, numéro 12, modification d'un contrat service professionnel, restauration de l'escalier Roslyn. Councillor Peart.
Merci, Madame la Mairesse. I'll dispense with the whereases. It's pretty straightforward, this one. So I move that the contract awarded to BC2 Group Conseil Inc. for professional services, restoration of the Roslyn stairs be modified and increased to a maximum amount of $52,150 plus taxes.
Thank you very much. A second. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
No, not
You're not done. Yeah, you have to move. Sorry.
I'm slowly scrolling.
Okay.
That an additional expenditure be authorized in the amount of $14,153.42, including taxes for professional services, restoration of the Roslyn stairs with BC2 Group Conseil Inc. to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file number 2021-1446.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this will be Councillor D'Amico as the councillor for the district, and this is important that we get this done. Any further comments on this?
Yep, the background behind the change in fees, it's a small change in the scope of work and in terms of the materials and some changes that were requested by us and also some site conditions that also engender these changes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All in favor? Carried. Item number 13, numero 13. We are at adoption bylaw 1583 to impose and levy a tax and compensation for the 2022 fiscal year. The Assistant City Clerk.
Toutes les
Le greffier
formalités,
adjoint.
oui, toutes les formalités requises pour la dispense de lecture de ce règlement ont été respectées et que des copies du règlement ont été remises à tous les membres du Conseil et mises à la disposition du public. L'objet de ce règlement est d'imposer et de prélever une taxe et une compensation pour l'exercice financier 2022. Et finalement, les taux indiqués aux articles 3 à 5 du projet de règlement ont été modifiés.
Merci beaucoup. Est-ce que je peux avoir la déclaration de la part de chaque membre du Conseil présent à la fait qu'il ou elle a lu le règlement et que la lecture en est dispensée? So declared. Thank you. Councillor D'Amico, over to you. You're on mute, Councillor D'Amico.
That bylaw number 1583 entitled Bylaw to Impose and Levy a Tax and Compensation for the 2022 fiscal year be adopted.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this will be Councillor Kez. Any further comments on this? No, all the details will be online on our website. So all in favor? Carried. I declare that bylaw 1583 entitled Bylaw to Impose and Levy a Tax and Compensation for the 2022 fiscal year having been duly adopted. It is ordered that notices be given as required by law. Item number 14, tabling of the Planning Advisory Committee minutes. Dépôt des procès-verbaux du Comité consultatif d'urbanisme. Councillor Peart.
Thank you, Madame la Mairesse. I move that council acknowledge and accept the minutes of the Planning Advisory Committee's regular meeting held on December 7th of 2021 and of the special meetings held on December 7th and December 14th of 2021.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder on that? Do I need a seconder on that, or is it just the tabling? Oh, yes, I do need a seconder on that. Councillor Gallery, any further comments on this, Councillor Peart?
Well, as I've mentioned before, but I'll probably repeat for a few times because this is something new that we've been doing for the past few months, and that is the tabling of the minutes from our CCU sessions. And so it's in a bid to improve our transparency. This is the result.
Perfect, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 15, urban planning, approval of site planning and architectural integration programs. Again, Councillor Peart.
Thank you, Madame la Mairesse. I move that the Municipal Council act on the opinions of the Planning Advisory Committee as set out in the minutes of the regular meeting held on December 7th of 2021 and of the special meetings held on December 7th and December 14th of 2021 and adopt for each of them the site planning and architectural integration programs conditions for the issuance of a permit as listed in the following items. CCU 21-12-07.02, CCU 21-12-07.3, and CCU 21-12-07.09 of the agenda of the regular PAC meeting held on December 7th of 2021. CCUS 21-12-07.01, CCUS 21-12-07.02, and CCUS 21-12-07.04 through 2, CCUS 21-12-07.07 of the agenda of the special PAC meeting held on December 7th of 2021. CCUS 21-12-14.02 of the agenda of the special PAC meeting held on December 14th of 2021.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this will be Councillor Gallery. Any further comments or any files of there that you'd like to note?
A quick comment first, just again for the edification of some people who may not joined us previously. The notations that you're seeing there, the CCU, the 21, those refer to -12, et cetera. Those refer to the agenda items on the prior pack agenda, on the agenda items listed for the previous pack minutes. And so you can cross-reference these numbers to the specific file applications. There's a difference between a CCU and a CCUS. The S denotes a special session. That means one that is not ordinarily scheduled, and it's usually the result of a higher volume of files, or most recently in the case, or in this recent case, a function of the backlog of files that were piled up over the election season. Mayor Smith, I think you had asked about any particular files, mostly doors and windows, but in this case, there was a significant addition at 11 Severn and a new accessory structure, which sometimes we call a garden shed or a pool accessory building at 565 Argyle, but beyond that, relatively modest changes.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Gallery is seconding this, so all in favor? Carried. Item 16, again, is Councillor Peart, urban planning rejection of a site planning and architectural integration program.
Thank you, Madam Ramirez. For this one, I will read the whereases since this is exceptional and not typical. Whereas the minutes of the regular meeting of the Planning Advisory Committee held on December 7th of 2021 were tabled, whereas the main role of the Planning Advisory Committee is to analyze and give an opinion on any request that must be submitted to it in accordance with the Land Use Planning and Development Act, example SBAIP, minor exemption, SCOPE, conditional uses, etc., and on any other application in matters of land use planning and development that is submitted to it by council. Whereas applications have been submitted by the applicants under bylaw 1305 on site planning and architectural integration programs, whereas the Planning Advisory Committee has issued opinions regarding these applications as stated in the Planning Advisory Committee minutes of the regular meeting held on December 7th of 2021. Whereas according to bylaw 1305 on site planning and architectural integration programs, council must decide on the opinions of the committee by way of resolution. I move that the municipal council act on the unfavorable opinion of the Planning Advisory Committee as set out in the minutes of the regular meeting held on December 7th, 2021, and in item CCU 21-12-07.04 of the agenda of said meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Peart. And a seconder on this will be Councillor Gallery as the second councillor on the PAC right now. Any further comments on this?
This was a permit request that was denied. It was deemed to be not satisfactory, not in compliance with our guidelines.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 17 is new business. I don't believe we have any new business on tonight's agenda, so we will now move to the second question period, la deuxième période de questions. If there are any questions, to put them in the chat, which I believe we have one in the chat here from Mr. Biro. Would you like to read I'll ask the Assistant City Clerk to read it into the record then?
Yes. It's a question from Mrs. Dennis Barrow. What does the city mean by the term green accounting mentioned in the budget report?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Biro, for your question. I think that Councillor D'Amico would like to answer this one. So I'll hand it over to Councillor D'Amico.
So what I mean by green accounting is I've had a lot of questions regarding global climate change and what is the city going to do about global climate change? Well, at the finance level, I feel the most important thing is to start quantifying things. So we have to start looking at including more environmental information, more global climate change information as part of our financial statements and as part of our reporting. We're going to be taking, so I've given the mandate to the finance department to start implementing that. Obviously, the city of Montreal is doing it, but they have more staff, so we're going to start getting there. So it's a first step to start including environmental information and sustainability and global climate change information as part of our financial statements and a part of our reporting structure.
Thank you, Councillor D'Amico, and thank you, Mr. Bureau, for your question. I don't see any other questions in the chat. So at this point, we will adjourn the meeting. We will adjourn the meeting until our regular council sitting of, I don't even know what the date in February is. I feel like it's February 7th perhaps, but don't quote February 7th. So our next council meeting is February 7th, le 7 février. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. And we will see you in February. Good night, everyone. Bonsoir.